Welcome back in, everybody. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. Thank you again to Austin McGinnis. With Flopshot, you guys can go to our Facebook pages, Golf Talk Radio, Mike and Billy. You can go to Twitter, GTRM&B. You can also go to their Facebook page and jump in on their Kickstarter. We're talking, I know probably three of us are going to make a purchase on that. So I think it's a really cool game. I mean, here in San Luis Obispo County, cornhole is a huge game. I mean, when I came down here, I'd never seen it before. And
I never heard that name for it.
It's everywhere. I mean, it is everywhere.
Well, I watched the video while you were doing the thing.
At the network meeting, the great big ones they had out in that lawn that day.
That was awesome.
Huge cornholes.
Those were big.
They were like, remember?
Yeah.
Tossing 6-pound beanbags.
I know.
Medicine balls.
Were you there?
No.
You weren't there this year?
Yes, she
meeting?
was.
Network meeting, yeah.
Yeah,
but
November.
I didn't see the cornhole.
Yeah, I was out there that first night of the party where they had the big party outdoors.
Remember when you got hit in the back of the
Yeah,
head?
you wanted-
That
and
was
you
one
were
of
out-
the beanbags.
You were out for like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
and you didn't know what happened, right? So when you came to, you're like, what
She's
hit me?
like, yeah.
And we're like, you got hit by the cornhole. You're like, what?
I remember.
Who you calling cornhole? You got all mad. Don't you remember that?
Who you calling cornhole?
So the only person I know that's happy that wished he did miss the cut would have been Mike. Mike would have been good if you missed the cut.
Yes,
Instead, you made the cut, and you're wearing a bandage. So I'm sorry about that.
It could have been a lot worse. I actually swung golf club last night.
Can I read a few names here?
Yes.
Jordan Spieth, John Rahm, Roy McIlroy, Jason Day, Tiger Woods, Adam Scott, Lucas Glover, Graham McDowell, Bubba Watson, Charles Schwartzel, Danny Willett, Sergio Garcia, Ernie Els, Martin Keimer, just to make a few. The last 8 were former major champions. All of them missed the cut, including a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
But those look at those names, and I was talking during the break that these announcers beforehand, these experts and the Brandles of the world and these guys all said this tournament's going to bring the top players. You're going to see the top 10 players in the world, all the top of the scoreboard. That's what they said. Not close. All right, and what was the quote, Dave? Whose quote you said it doesn't bring the U.S. Open?
It was what Sandy Tatum said. They don't try to embarrass the best players in the world. They try to identify them.
Do you know he's a trustee of the first tee, Sandy Tatum?
Yep.
He's one of the big trustees. How you doing over there, Mike? So what do you think of the Open? You guys seen it? Have you guys been watching it? I have not.
I have only watched a little bit.
I've watched a little bit of it, and the part that I saw made me not want to watch it.
It's like pulling off a Band-Aid, no pun intended.
It was painful.
Like ripping off a Band-Aid.
It was like ripping off a
No
Band-Aid.
pun intended.
Yeah.
If you do that, we'll just squirt the walls, man. Don't be ripping off anything.
Yes. And I didn't see any of yesterday's because there's a work all day. I saw a little bit of Thursdays, and the parts I saw, I'm like, I'll just go to work.
I love it.
I just go to work. I see it at work.
Poor Jason Duffner yesterday.
You know, I mean, it's just
What happened to him? He had such a
could
good
not
first
make-
round.
He's hitting the ball better than anybody on the
We'll
planet.
struggle a little bit with the blade.
He missed 2-footers, 3-footers, 4-footers, 5-footers, Frankfurters.
Frankfurters.
He missed everything. That was
That is so
Tough when you miss
funny.
a Frankfurter.
A Frankfurter.
So I didn't see that. See, all I really saw since I was gone is I listened to the PGA Tour channel or something, and but they're always focused on Tiger or the top 3 or 4. So that's all you hear. So that gets annoying.
Well, you won't hear
But
Tiger
Golf
anymore,
Channel,
so-
I watched this morning as I was preparing the show. I had that on, so I got to see some of the highlights. But I
Yeah.
really haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I'm hoping to.
Well, I was looking here when you said how I was doing. When I was looking up, there are only 2 holes that are averaging under par over the entire field.
When they did the par
The
5s.
19th.
They're the par 5s. Yep.
They're the par 5s?
Hole 5 and 16, and number 5 is 4.78 strokes. Number 16 is 4.9. So it's actually pretty much
really
the par.
Yeah. Wow.
And even number 7, you notice they changed it from a circle green to a big square, big rectangle shape. It's still killing them.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, I mean it's just.
They gave them new
it's
pin
this-
placements, and
Yeah.
they said, I don't like that pin placement.
But it's so much bigger greens. Yeah, right.
I mean, here's a telling stat. So hole number 3 for the entire first 2 rounds, a total of 9 birdies
On the third hole total.
total.
That's a 300
It
players.
is- it is a drivable par 3, though.
I mean,
What if Trevino said it's the shortest par 5 he's ever played?
I know it's like I don't know. I feel like I mean it's the USGA can do what they want. They're not going to listen to me. I just think I don't know. I just think it's kind of ludicrous. There's a point where
It's supposed to be
I
hard.
know, but
It's
like-
the
It's almost
US
embarrassing.
Open.
it is like Thursday. I'm watching Thursday. Guys are hitting the front like eighth of the green, and it's rolling off the back.
Well, then they didn't hit it properly.
And it's like,
Well, you know,
It's more than one guy.
and they were.
I know, I know.
They set up U.S. Open conditions
Once a
but-
year.
but they had set up an open course with British Open conditions, and it made it brutal. Because it's just U.S. Open is built for the landing and target zones.
this is
and
becoming
this
a
was,
game of luck.
It was blowing so hard. I mean,
That's what
Yeah.
Mickelson said.
It's a game of luck,
Well,
and that's not.
there's
And I
that
realize they
fine
can't
line
control the wind.
where
like, geez,
making it hardest possible and fair, and then making it
Right.
goofy golf.
ridiculous.
well, Gary
But-
Player said the better he gets, the luckier he gets.
yeah,
The
He's
more
still-
skill set he has, the luckier he gets.
And he got pretty lucky.
He got pretty lucky.
you can't define skill from luck when they're playing
Right.
in conditions
Right.
Well,
like that. It's and again, I realize too they can't control.
Well,
the
I
wind.
think you
They
all
can't,
know,
you know.
that they try to get it to be like even par to be a winning score.
Which
they've
I'm
been
fine
trying to do that for years.
And I'm
well,
fine with that.
4 under's leading, so they haven't.
But
quite.
it's one guy.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of 2 guys at even, right,
Yeah.
and a bunch of guys at +1. But I know it's one guy, but he's the number 1 player in the world too. But that's what they're trying to do, and I bet it's going to be really close to that at the end.
Players
Now,
are so good nowadays, it's hard
it's
to get
Pebble
it
Beach
even
next
harder.
year, right? They're having the Open at Pebble Beach
Yeah.
next year, and Tiger won there by 15 shots. He was the only guy.
12 under. The next guy was 3 over.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was only one guy that was under par.
He was pretty good,
But
though.
he was way under par.
Yeah, he
but
had pretty
still,
good
but you're right. Only one player under par, and but that's
that's
how
what they're
good
trying
he
to do.
played. That's what they're trying to do, and it's not fun for your typical. You guys are right. It was hard.
It's hard
I
to
didn't watch it, so
watch.
Mike says like watching a car crash. I mean, it's not. I didn't watch
Yeah.
it, so I can't relate.
I just,
Yeah.
I guess, if the USGA, and the PGA and the LPGA and everybody else, again, I'm all for even par. I'm even all for if it's a couple shots over, but to have a majority of the field look like weekend hackers is that's not.
That's the only way you're going
Well,
to get it.
Yeah,
but that's
but
not-
that's what
third
I
of the
didn't
field
like
is
either.
guaranteed to miss the cut just because
Exactly. Yeah.
they're not superstars.
I'm just
They
not
can't get
sure,
there.
like at the state of golf and where it's at, that this is like the best thing to be doing to promote your
it's
game.
only
Even if
once
it is,
a year,
it
Mike.
doesn't matter.
There's 2 ways they could have fixed it. They
Yeah.
highlighted those 2 groups who struggled, and it looked like weekend hackers, the number 1 players in the world. Tiger's group and Jordan's and George and those, and they all struggled, and he looked like. But if they highlighted everybody who was playing well, it wouldn't have looked so bad. Right?
That's a good
If
point.
they really would have shown people playing well with good shots.
That's a very
But
valid.
all TV was
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
people crash, and that's
Yeah.
because that's where the cameras and everybody was interested.
And they're
They
complaining
could have
about-
fixed that. They could have said,
you're,
"Let's go."
You're
off.
right, but that also is something that should be considered, because if you've got someone who's like watching the game,
It's just
and you're talking about, you got advertisers, you got all this stuff, I would think that would matter.
yeah.
Because these
The average player's
all
going, God,
sport-
if
all
these
sports-
guys are doing that, I don't want to even play this
all
game.
sports is entertainment.
Exactly.
All sports is entertainment.
Right.
There's nothing entertaining about watching Tiger be 11 over. There's nothing entertaining about McElroy being 10 over.
Yeah.
I just, you know what? I mean, seriously.
No, I hear you.
Vini,
I got
my
better
son.
things. I got better things to do with
No,
my time.
I hear you, and I think that they.
and I'm just coming at it from
Okay,
that
do you
angle.
want it to be the Bob
if,
Hope?
if the
Where
producer,
they're shooting 40
Yeah.
under.
I don't want that
no,
either.
no, you don't want
I know.
that.
I want it to
That-
be.
but
you
know
got to
what?
shoot 64. You
But
missed
you
the
know what?
cut.
I love that too because it's once a year.
It's once a year.
And so,
But I
the
don't even
Birdie
like
Fest
that.
once a year, and then
It's not reality.
the
No,
US
but
Open once a
here's
year.
the difference.
Well, the
It's
British
not-
Open's always around par. They're only,
It's- yeah.
4 or 5 under. Usually.
That's weather.
yeah.
It's not about whether they shoot par, under par, over par. You want them to be shown hitting nice shots or looking professional in some way.
The-
But like Ian Poulter, when he was under 1 or whatever, he hit that shot that went back and got stuck in the rough, and then he popped it up, and it was just like.
Was he not in the lead
front.
in the leader table?
He's still pretty close.
Oh, good.
But that little, if
He
you had
shouldn't have
come
hit it in there.
if you had come in and seen him during that period of time, you would have thought, who is this
Well,
guy?
the producers, so
Stop.
being an executive producer yourself and magazine expert yourself, you could actually, they could have gone to the truck and said, let's, now DJ was in that group, but the other 2 were struggling, right? So they have to see DJ, he's leading. But they could have gone, let's go to number 6, where all the players who were playing well, and it
Charlie
would have
Hoffman.
looked like great golf shots the whole time. It would have. And you would have seen great shots.
Well-
You would have seen scores that are around even par, and everybody would have loved it. But instead, they showed the train wrecks, and it was
There was
frustrating.
a lot of train wrecks. It made me not. I mean, my thought was I would not want to play that golf course. No way.
Well, then go watch it.
Yeah,
No big deal.
yeah.
Unlike number
Channel
3.
7.
Like number 3, it takes a perfect golf shot. Got to be a high fade. Any other shot is off the green. And that shows, they're pulling out. They say you have to hit this shot.
You have to. Yeah, or you make 4, or you plan for 4
There
and go.
are no options. You have to
or
hit that
or
shot.
you're laying up on the par 3,
Yeah.
right? So and you still have
It
to
is
hit a perfect
drivable,
shot.
but
It is drivable. But you're right. They're going the mindset of 4.
yeah,
You're thinking 4.
they're just telling you
I'm going to make
that
4 and get
if
out
you
of here.
can't hit that shot, you're not going to be knocking on the green.
Another
And
couple of things they could have done is taken a couple of the long par 4s, which are 500 and change, and made them par 5s. And it would have bet the score would have been a little bit lower, right? Because they're 540
But-
par 4s.
Yeah, so it's going to be, what,
Something crazy like that.
288 is par?
Yeah, it's
No,
par
280 's
70,
par.
280.
Yeah.
Right. So they could
Well, you
have made
mentioned,
it,
like,
they
But
could have made it
280 is
288.
supposed to win the Open.
Number
That's what's supposed
14.
to
Number
win the Open.
Here's your example. Like number 14 is a par 4 that's 519 yards.
That's what I'm saying. So
I mean, that's like they got 9 others on that.
13 at Augusta's shorter than that.
Yeah,
And it's
I mean,
par
it's
five.
just
And it's one of the great par 5s
That's one of the best
all
par
time.
5s in golf.
yeah, and I guess that's what I'm getting at is it's not I don't think they need to do a whole lot. I think they're just again it just coming at it from this angle. I just think that's beyond reasonable.
I love it.
Like that's,
I didn't see it, but I like where the fields. I mean, it's weird that these people miss because these are such talented players. But I like the scoring where it is.
well,
You got to be absolutely
I
on
like
top.
even par.
You can't have your B game and break 75,
Oh yeah.
which on 90% of the tour courses you can.
yeah.
And they want it around par. And they want the winner around par, which means everybody else is going to shoot over.
Well, here's one thing that may happen.
Which
yeah.
everybody else is over. That's
There
right.
may be another thing that happens here, depending on and again, like I said before, you can't control the weather unless you know the place is windy all the time. But
It
maybe
is windy all the time.
if it's windy all the time, I'm sure that I don't know. Maybe the USGA will do it or
Well,
not. The
well,
only
the
other thing,
greens
Well,
are
it's
slower.
exposed and it's
That's
near
what I
the
was gonna
water.
say.
They
Yeah.
don't have the bite of a normal U.S.
But they put them in
Open.
11s. They left them long.
that's what I'm saying is that they could
They
change.
left them long.
They could not mow or cut it less for the next couple days, like today and tomorrow, and change the whole format of the tournament. But then at that point, to me, you're messing around. You're messing around with the layout. Like it's not being consistent.
it needs to be.
And that's the thing that I'm wondering, because you could go back to all these old U.S. Opens and they're like, well, the greens are burning. Well, the guys,
This was one of them.
yeah,
Oh boy, was
Yeah.
it ever!
they got burned by the greens burning are like out, and then now these guys who made it are like, okay, we'll water the greens for you now. Now we're going to bring you made it through hell, and I'm just not sure that's not an
Well,
easy-
actually, they got lucky on the first day because it rained the day before.
Yeah.
Just think of what it
And-
could have been.
And then
That's
they,
my point.
but they left them long, and then the players
Yeah.
complained about that, which was funny. Well, they're too long. They were, the putts, the Tiger almost came and rolled back and stuff. The grasses were longer than I expected. They weren't that long in the practice round.
Well,
We left them long because you guys wanted it
Here,
long.
I got an idea, Tiger. Hit it harder.
But they said we wanted, it was too fast. They left it long. Now it's too slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's normal responses too. It will be interesting. I mean, I'm with you guys. It'll be interesting to see how many players actually end up around par.
And
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously
It'll be-
today, tomorrow will dictate how that's all going to turn out. I mean, right now you've got maybe 10 guys at +2 and under, and everybody's 4 over and up.
Well, I think
Well,
that's
you
what
know.
Dave said. If even par wins, everybody else is over par.
And that means some people
Right.
are way over
Some are
par,
way
and that's
over
exactly
par.
what it is.
But I want to go back to what Billy said. If you go out and you play practice rounds, isn't the intent of a practice round to get a feel for the golf course? And then the championship starts and they've changed all the conditions. So what good is it playing any practice
what-
rounds?
Well, they
How's the
did it with
conditions-
anticipation of the weather.
What
and
caused
they got
the
it wrong.
conditions to change? Weather.
That's what. Yeah, they
And
did
you
it.
can't do anything
Well,
about
They
it.
tried.
and also
They
maintenance.
saw the forecast
No,
and made
not
changes
at all.
on it to hope, and then it just
weather.
didn't work.
And they see what
That's-
weather's
it's
coming
weather's
in.
why they
Weather's
changed-
one thing, but if they're
That's
all
why
of
they
a sudden
changed the course.
leaving everything different
That's
than it
because
was,
of the weather.
They only
Yeah.
changed it
If
because
the
of the
wind
weather.
is blowing and the greens are all drying out,
Yeah.
they're going to let them grow a little bit.
Mixed
Yeah, they have
feelings
to.
here in the panel. We
Yeah,
have
that's
mixed
the way it should
feelings
be.
here.
mixed feeling.
But then there's always Will Grimmer.
who is a stud.
Yeah, well, we'll come back on the
Young
other
Will.
side with Clubbing with Dave. We're going to talk about golf grips, which we didn't do last week. We talked about and didn't do it, but we'll do it after the break.
Okay.
All right, David.
Oh,
You guys listen to
I like
Golf Talk
US Open
Radio
better.
with Mike and Billy. We'll be right back. Stay with us.